Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, give my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. And this will be one of the random video blogs where I talk about a story that happened a couple of years ago. So 3 years ago today, exactly. This is why I figured I would talk about it today, because it is the 3-year anniversary of the event. So going back a little before that, I wanted to get tickets to Monday Night Raw for June 3rd, 2013. It was going to be in Hartford, one day removed from my birthday, which was yesterday, of course. I could not have been any more excited. I wanted nothing more for my birthday than those tickets. I don't even think I asked for anything else than wrestling tickets for Raw. And before that, I wanted to go to Slammiversary in Boston for TNA, which was on my birthday itself. But I figured once Raw was announced for Hartford on June 3rd, I said, screw Slammiversary, I'm going to Raw. I have to be at Raw. And this was more important than anything else for me, because up to this point, I had not been to a live Raw in over nearly 4 years, since my first ever Raw with John. Typically, my first live WWE event in almost 4 years. I went to a live event that October, which was great, but I had been trying to get tickets to Raw for a long-ass time. The year before that, for my birthday, they had Raw in Hartford, or Bridgeport, or one of those towns here in Connecticut, in June of 2012, and I couldn't get tickets. My parents waited too long to get tickets, so I couldn't go, and then it ended up being a great show, and I was really bummed out. They had another Raw, or another Raw in Connecticut that September. I said, okay, it's fine. If you can't get tickets to the show in June, can I please go to the show in September? And they couldn't get tickets to that show either. So again, really disappointed. That was a really good show too. I'm thinking, okay. And we ended up going to the live event, like I said, that October in Hartford, which was fun. But I said, I need to go to a Raw though. Can I really have tickets for my birthday to go to this Raw? I will ask for nothing else. And on my birthday, June 2nd, I found out I was going to Raw June 3rd in Hartford. Ended up being a very good show. That was the same show where the Usos came back out with face paint, the first time they ever had face paint on WWE TV. Vince returned, Stephanie returned. It was a really good show. Ryback versus Daniel Bryan, The Shield versus Team Hell No and Randy Orton. I think Daniel Bryan wrestled twice that night. It was a really good show. We got not front row seats, but pretty close to it, right behind the commentators. It was a great experience. But the story comes in. So after the show, when we were leaving the arena, through the main entrance or whatever, my stepdad, who took me and my brother, said, hey, do you know that guy? So I look around, I turn around, and it's Bob frickin' Backlund, who was under contract with the company at that point. He had just been in the Hall of Fame, just been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame that year. Was not making televised appearances, but apparently he would come to all the shows in Connecticut because he lives here in Connecticut, and just do meet and greets before and after the shows and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, absolutely, I would love to meet Bob Backlund. That'd be so sick. He's a WWE Hall of Famer finally, blah, blah, blah. So we went up to him, didn't have to wait too long at all. We got a great picture with him, which I'm going to use for the thumbnail of this video probably. And they also put it on a WWE magazine cover. I have it printed out somewhere. It's around here somewhere. But they ended up having us take the picture, me, my brother, and Bob Backlund, and they gave us the printout on a WWE magazine cover, like I said. So it was really cool, and it was great meeting him. So that was an awesome experience. But also kind of going off of that too, fast forward to a couple years later, this past year in January, I found out that same stepdad, that same guy, told me that Bob Backlund was coming to Meriden, or again, one of the towns here in Connecticut, on the final Thursday of January rather, before I was going back to college. So I figured if I was here at home and I was going to be able to go, it was on a Thursday, I had MMA practice, but I figured, okay, it's only 20 minutes out of the way from when my practice gets out. So once my MMA class is done, I'll go right over there, and we did. So we went to the book signing is what it was, with Bob Backlund. Like I said, he lives here in the area, but he's finally had a new book out. It's been in the works for a while now, but it was finally released just recently. And he was doing a book tour to go, to promote the book and whatever, the autobiography. So we got there a little late, but we sat there for about an hour, and he was just talking about the book, his life, and a really fascinating talk. I always loved Bob Backlund, but hearing his side of the story and his positive mental attitude, which I'm a big believer in, anyone who knows me well enough knows that. And he was talking about that and growing up, and not really so much about wrestling, but it was still very inspirational, motivational talk for people like me, the younger people. There was a lot of older people there who were just there to see this guy talk, and they were probably at the library anyway, but it was really fascinating. So we were sitting there for half an hour hearing this guy, listening to this guy talk, and he, took apart questions afterwards, and people, some wrestling fans that were there were asking him wrestling questions. So I asked a few questions about him being in the Rumble, and I had just watched at that time the 1993 Royal Rumble, where he lasted almost an hour, and I asked him, do you like doing Royal Rumble matches? Do you enjoy doing that kind of stuff? How was your return to MSG in the 2000 Royal Rumble? And this was right before the Rumble pay-per-view that Sunday. So that's why I thought it was fitting to ask him the Rumble questions. And he said, no, I don't like doing Rumble matches because I don't really feel like there's a real story to it. I like standard singles matches. And he said going to MSG for the Garden to make his return there was great, blah, 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 because there's a lot of history there, obviously. So he answered my questions. That was cool. Afterwards, I was able to buy his book. They had it on sale there. It's right here. Backlund is what it's called. From All-American Boy to Professional Wrestling's World Champion, Bob Backlund and Rob Miller wrote the book with a foreword by Roddy Piper, who we also talked about a lot at the talk as well. So I was able to buy the book, not get a picture with him, but he was able to sign the book too. To Graham Never Capitulate, Bob Backlund, PMA. So that was really cool. So I was able to talk to him for a little bit, get a handshake, tell him, the positive mental attitude stuff really meant a lot to me. He's an inspiration, etc., etc. He really appreciated that. I appreciated everyone coming out. So it was great. A really fun time talking to him there, meeting him a couple years earlier at Raw in Hartford. So if you ever get the chance to meet Bob Backlund, definitely do so. He's a great guy. And the timing of this video could not be any more fitting, I guess, because now that he is back on WWE TV with Darren Young. Hopefully when Darren Young comes back to TV and they're not doing the vignettes as much anymore, he's with them. He's not just being his life coach. He's going to be hopefully on TV as well, in his corner as his manager. I would really hope so, because Bob Backlund is fucking awesome. He's so cool as a character, as a person, whatever. So I would love to see him resurface on WWE TV when that time comes. So it's really cool to see him back in the good graces of the company, in the Hall of Fame, and more importantly, on TV as well, so I can see him every week doing this Make Darren Young Great Again campaign, which I'm interested in. I know a lot of people are not giving it a chance just yet, because they feel Darren Young may not be worthy or deserving of the push, but I think he is, so I'm willing to give it a chance and see how it plays out in the weeks ahead. So with all that being said, guys, as always, thank you for checking out the video, the story, everything else. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All support is amazingly appreciated. Next week, the next 2 video blogs, if all goes correctly and there's no deaths and there's no big happenings, which I'm sure there always is. A lot of news breaking in the world of wrestling. It's been a great summer so far for me. I got off a couple weeks ago from school. I look forward to the rest of the summer on the Road to SummerSlam tour, which is August 21st in Brooklyn. Can't wait for that. But in the meantime, though, the next 2 video blogs, like I said, barring any changes, or barring? I don't know. I think it's barring, right? Barring? I'm not exactly sure. Barring. Barring any major changes, we will be having 2 video blogs next week and the week after, per usual. I don't know what the order is, but I think one of them is my favorite Money in the Bank ladder matches, and then the other one is my favorite Money in the Bank cash-ins. Again, I don't know which one comes first, but be on the radar. Just be on the lookout for those 2 videos in the next 2 Fridays to come. 2 Money in the Bank related videos as Money in the Bank, not Money in the Blank, rather, draws near. So with that being said, guys, as always, thank you for your support. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.